Because of the following CBS Sports special presentation, the CBS late movie will not be televised tonight.
With elimination staring them in the face for the second year in a row, the Boston Celtics, keyed by their outstanding center Robert Parrish, responded to the home crowd and the challenge at hand. Parrish hit from all over in his best performance since Game 1. But Larry Bird also came alive for the Celtics. 20 points, 20 rebounds, 8 assists in a fiercely determined effort as the Celtics caught the Sixers slow getting back on defense. However, the key to Boston's victory was a defensive move, double-teaming Sixer guards like hot-shooting Andrew Toney, forcing Philly to shoot poorly and turning over the ball so that the Celtics could run their fast break almost at will. The crowd at Boston Garden chanted, "See you Sunday." And the Celtics came off the canvas to live another day. But unless Boston wins tonight here in the Spectrum in Philadelphia, there will only be a Sunday for the Sixers.
And now the six starters. West Texas State, number 10, Mo Cheeks. Fellow guard, Southwest Louisiana, number 22, Andrew Toney. Shade number 11, Caldwell Jones. Number 24, Bobby Jones. University of Massachusetts, number 6, Julius.
Celtics and the Philadelphia 76ers. And this storied history of tremendous rivalry in professional basketball takes on a new chapter. And believe me, everyone is thinking of the same thing. Boston players, Philadelphia players, the fans, and all of us. Will Philadelphia come a cropper again? They had a 3-1 lead last year and lost in 7 games. They had a 3-1 lead and lost in game number 5. So the onus is on them in game number 6. And as I bring in my partner, Bill Russell, you know what it's like to be trailing 3-1 in a series against Philadelphia. What is it like?
Well, first of all, it's very frightening. It's a situation you would like to avoid. But we never felt any pressure until we had caught up, because we never had to worry about anything except the very next game and nothing beyond that.
All right. Boston made an adjustment the other night. They double-teamed Andrew Toney. Philadelphia was confused. They were out of their ball game. Why did they do it, and what does Philadelphia have to do to combat it this year?
Well, what Philadelphia will have to do is Andrew Toney will have to be a good passer, not necessarily a great passer. They know he's a good shooter, a great shooter, but he's going to have to be a good passer. He and Dr. J will both have to make those extra passes, but that one pass is not enough. They will have to make at least 2 or 3 extra passes to make it work.
Bill, if you had to pick out one player on each club who's the key that we follow early, which players would they be?
For Boston, it would have to be Robert Parrish. When he's gotten off to a good start in the first half, they've been devastating. And for Philadelphia, it's got to be Maurice Cheeks, because he sets the pace. If he's aggressive offensively, that sets the tone for their defense. And so those 2 guys would be the key guys.
I remember Bill said that all Boston had to do is win 1 game in Philadelphia. The must game was not game 4. So tonight is the 1 game in Philly they must win. But in many ways, the Sixers also must win tonight.
The NBA on CBS. Tonight's playoff game is sponsored by light beer from Miller. Everything you've always wanted in a beer and less. Subaru, inexpensive and built to stay that way. And by United Airlines. United invites you to come fly the friendly sky.
And the starting lineups for the Boston Celtics. Maxwell, Bird, and Parrish up front. Gerald Henderson in his second start since relieving Tiny Archibald, who was out with a dislocated shoulder in game number 3 early in ML Carr. Julius Erving, Bobby Jones, and Caldwell Jones, along with Mo Cheeks and Andrew Toney, who's starting in place of Lionel Hollins, who's back in action but hasn't started since his injury. And it's a lineup that the Sixers have used since game 1. Interesting about this long history between these clubs, it has never ended in 6. So the Celtics in traveling Kelly Green and Philadelphia in the home white. Caldwell Jones and Robert Parrish jump Philadelphia ball. Henderson is on Cheeks. Bird is on Bobby Jones, who loops it to Julius Erving and gets it back out to Bobby. Carr is on Toney. Bobby Jones, and there you see several passes, like you said, early on for Philadelphia.
Now, Andrew Toney made that pass, and that's what he's going to have to do. Get penetration if they're double teaming, but move that ball around. They got to get 3 or 4 good passes because Boston's a good shot blocking team.
And a loose ball turnover picked up by Caldwell Jones. Mo Cheeks. The defense has dictated the tempo of these games early. And that was a tackle, an out-and-out tackle by Maxwell. And
either he tripped or slipped.
All right. So the main thing to bring out here is that the good defense has set the tone in this series.
Now there's the defensive play there. He's falling.
All right, he tripped.
He had no chance. That's kind of embarrassing.
Looked like a first down.
He tripped over the foul line.
Maxwell on Julius. Julius has not had an outstanding offensive game as of yet. Bobby Jones may have been guilty of the loose ball foul as he crashed the boards. A loose ball foul against Bobby Jones. The officials tonight, Jake O'Donnell and Jack Madden, with Hugh Evans, the alternate. Cheeks picking up Henderson early. After the Celtics had a couple of days to work things out, Henderson was calling his own plays. Sunday, he had a look to Bill Fitch on the bench. Here comes the break. They want to go to Cheeks in the open court.
When you take a lot of outside shots, that's one of the things that opens up is the long rebound. Now, Bobby Jones got that rebound out by the foul line, and they were off and running. They didn't get anything out of it. But when you shoot the jump shots, that's one of the dangers, especially a team that has good transition like Philadelphia has.
Cheeks misses. Erving tips it up and misses. And Parrish comes down with it. Philadelphia has to look for the long outlet pass. Maxwell going to the hoop. And it's going to be Philadelphia ball. The Sixers have to do well enough on the defensive boards and cause enough turnovers so that Cheeks can operate in the open court on the break.
Right, because they're not normally a great rebounding team. They get most of their fast breaks from good defense.
Julius going in. Tips it in. Julius Erving has averaging 16 points a game, 8 points below his season's average, and his field goal percentage and free throw shooting is also down. But he has been outstanding on the defensive board, and he puts a move on ML Carr. Toney. Cheeks is open outside. Toney misses the shot. Sixers are back on defense, and that's something they didn't do Wednesday night. And Henderson goes in, and he'll call offensive foul. Henderson on the offensive foul. And this crowd is aroused early with 9:45 to go in the first period. Will Philadelphia get the monkey off their back? A technical foul has been called against the Boston bench.
Bill Fitch in particular.
Watch it, Bill. Technical foul, and Caldwell Jones, who is the leading free throw shooter for the Sixers this year, going to the line. He hit nearly 82%, and he is 92% in this series. So Philadelphia will inbound with Toney and Cheeks. Celtics beat the Sixers by 5 games in the Atlantic Division. Boston is 6-4 in the playoffs, including a 5 5-game series win over Washington. The Sixers are 9-4 with a victory over Milwaukee in 6 and Atlanta in 2. Mo Cheeks. So Cheeks getting off much earlier in this game than he did in the previous contest. First 7 points in the Philadelphia column. Henderson, Cheeks blocks it. Bird and Maxwell inside. Good ad-libbing by Boston, and Parrish tips it in. They know how to do it underneath, boy, when they have to ad-lib like that. Wild pass off of Julius, and Boston has it again. Took Boston 2 minutes and 40 seconds before they scored in the ballgame. We have under 9 minutes to play in the first. Bobby Jones on Bird. Parrish up top. He hit those outside shots Wednesday night and starts off with one here.
Now that's what they have to do, get Parrish outside. Actually, the center is better shooting outside, but Maxwell is better inside on the offensive board. So that's why it's so important that Robert Parrish is hitting those, because he's outside, and that gives room to Maxwell to go inside. And
it brings Caldwell Jones outside as well, who's the best defensive rebounder Philadelphia has. Caldwell Jones, who is averaging more rebounds than points in this series, and that's the way it was in the season for him as well. And a 5-point lead. Jerry Henderson, the point guard. He started 32 games for the Celtics this year when Tiny was out, and the Celtics at one point won 18 straight. 8 seconds on the shot clock. Bird. Caldwell Jones and a loose ball foul against the Celtics, and it's on Robert Parrish. So how do you read the early going, Russ?
Well, so far the Sixers obviously are doing what they want to do a little more often. But one of the problems that Robert Parrish has had with the Celtics is he's gotten foul trouble early in the games that they've lost, and has been not as effective the first half. And he has to be effective for them to really be operating.
Julius on a bank shot. So Irving looks like he wants to get off on the right foot, as does Mo Cheeks. Facing the basket, Parrish prefers that style. You saw Tony double teaming on Robert. Steps called against Parrish, and so far it's been all Philadelphia with a lot of time to go. 7:27 in the first. The Celtics had lost 11 in a row here at the Spectrum before their victory in the 6th game last year. Deflected and picked off by Maxwell. Henderson going to the hoop against Cheeks. Maxwell, foul. Philadelphia foul. And that'll be the second team foul on the Sixers. Boston already has 2. And the foul is on Bobby Jones, who has his second personal.
Maxwell is probably their best offensive rebounder in terms of the skill as an offensive rebounder.
And has been the best offensive rebounder of both teams in the series.
And so it's essential that Robert Parrish continues to shoot that outside shot. Now he's having a hard time because they're triple teaming him. Now they would probably better off if he would give it up after he gets the ball, pass it out, and get it back again. And so that you can throw Philadelphia's rotation out of sync.
7 minutes remaining in the first period. Bobby Jones gets a pass, goes to the hoop. Bill Fitch told us today that the man he worries about as much as anyone is Bobby Jones because of his ability on offense to get free, and of course the transition game that he plays so well. Bird, Jones all over him. Parrish over Caldwell Jones. So Robert seems to be on the mark from the baseline and the top of the key.
But he has to stay out of foul trouble, and that's been a problem in the games that they've lost.
Bobby Jones inside against Bird. Wide open Caldwell Jones. You remember what happened with Caldwell Jones in game number 2. He was left open and scored 22 points. Philadelphia is going to shoot better than the 33% of game 5 Wednesday.
Especially where they're looking tonight. They're off to a pretty good start. Now what?
Wild pass, Philadelphia ball.
What ball careful of is not to get too far behind. Because you get too far behind, when you start trying to play catch-up basketball, your game is a little different.
Timeout, it's been Philadelphia. The first chess move.
You know, baseball's the same in Japan as it is in America. You play 9 innings. 3 strikes and you're out. And after the game, there's nothing like a beer. And when Numa's in town, I treat him to light beer from Miller because it tastes great. Yeah, I know it's less filling, but we drink it because it tastes great. Listen, Numa, it tastes great. All right, it's less filling.
Light beer from Miller. Everything you've always wanted in a beer, and
If you had a favorite airplane, this one's going to take its place. United 767, with a new fuel-efficient engine, more powerful yet quieter, with computerized instruments to show the smoothest, fastest flight line home. United helped design this 767 with wider seats, 88% of them on an aisle or window. United 767 this fall.
The new Subaru Brat has sleek, aerodynamic lines.
Just tell him it's good looking.
Front and on-demand four-wheel drive.
Say it can climb.
A halo twin roof.
It's a window.
And it's engineered to withstand the elements.
That means it's tough.
The new Subaru Brat. Inexpensive and built to stay that way.
Just tell him it saves you money, buster.
This has been a strange Philadelphia-Boston series because we've had 3 blowouts, including the last 2. Only one game that really went down to the wire. Why do you think that is, Bill?
Well, I think these teams are evenly matched, believe it or not. And they're playing with as good an intensity as you're going to see any 2 teams play for a number of reasons. And so when one team gets an edge, it's hard for the other team to get back into the game because they don't let up. See, a lot of teams, unless you're real strong, you get a big lead, it's hard to maintain because you stop doing what you did to get the lead.
Less than 6 minutes to go, first period. Cheeks and Henderson. Carr trying to deny Tony the pass. Out to Julius. Jones setting a screen for Irving. Banks it in again. 3 of 7 from the field for Julius Irving, but he has 6 points, and the forwards are scoring early for Philadelphia. And right now, the biggest lead in the ball game for the Sixers.
That makes Julius very tough when he's hitting that jump shot outside, because if you try to take that away, you really have a problem with him.
M.L. Carr, who has not been a scorer in this series. He's averaging 8 points at 33% from the field. 7-point Philadelphia lead. 5:20 remaining in the first. Julius picked up by Maxwell. Bird now on a switch. Maxwell's on Jones. Tony with Carr. So now they get back to their original men. And Tony goes up. No basket. Traveling Andrew Tony. Turn it over to Boston. Thing about Philadelphia, Andrew Tony is such a prolific scorer and a great shooter, but he's got to make sure that the ball gets passed around and the other 4 don't stand around.
Because if he gets into a thing where he's scoring good, and this, say he's hot, and he hits 7 straight. With most shooters, that's a streak. That streak will change. And so after streak will change.
Steal and a turnover. Tony, Julius. Julius, 8 points.
After that streak is over, the other guys have to get back into rhythm. They get out of sync from standing around watching him do it. So that's one thing you hope that he makes them, but you got to keep motion. And
Philadelphia is getting the break on turnovers, as we've seen here on a couple of occasions. Cheeks strips the ball away from Henderson. And a foul by Henderson on Cheeks, and the 13th foul against the Boston Celtics, and Mo Cheeks will go to the line. And Philadelphia looks awfully crisp in the first period of this game.
And as the guy that's key to it, I still think that although he hasn't been leading the offense, he's setting the pace. Maurice Cheeks.
Second personal foul on Henderson. Cheeks has averaged 12.5 points a game and has led his club in assists. The free throw shooting has been subpar for both clubs. Billy Cunningham looking to get into the championship round in the turnover scoring. Celtics 6 in the first 7.5 minutes. 4:15 to go first. Parrish, high post over Bobby Jones. Caldwell Jones. Caldwell Jones has been outstanding defensive rebounding, and Parrish fouls Bobby Jones, and Philadelphia is beating the Celtics down the court. 2 on Parrish. Troubles for Bill Fitch, who has won 60 or more games in the 3 years he's been in Boston. 14th foul on the Celtics, and Jones to the line.
And Robert Parrish has 2 fouls the first quarter, and that is not a good sign for the Celtics.
Bobby Jones is now 15 of 16 from the line in this series, and Robert Parrish, who has 6 points, but more significantly 2 personals early. 13-point lead. Sixers off to the big start. And with one exception, the team that has the early start in this series has gone on to win without much trouble. Boston came back in game 3. Carr misses a 2-pointer, and it's Philadelphia ball, and the Celtics are in disarray right now. And Philadelphia is responsible.
Well, they are not playing their offense nearly as smooth as they would like. And Philadelphia has to take credit for that, because they have to get more stuff inside.
Tony, great pass.
Like that.
Cheeks. 15-point lead, 3:35 to go. First period. Henderson over Tony in a fine play. Gerald Henderson. Loop it in to Tony. Bird knocked it away, and it's still Philadelphia ball with 13 seconds to go. And Danny Ainge is coming in for the Celtics. He was in over his head Sunday against Philadelphia as Carr goes out of the ball game and played a much better contest Wednesday in Boston with 5 of 7. Helped in the double teaming of the guards. So Carr goes out, so Ainge will be the off guard here. Henderson the point guard. And now the Celtics are over the limit. That's their 15th foul. It's on Ainge, his first.
Now here's the play picked by Caldwell Jones as Ainge following through. And it looks like they may be trying to get that next foul on 0-0.
Andrew Toney over 81% from the line in the series. He's hit more than 23.5, and the Celtics are one of his favorite teams to go after. When you say 39 in one game, 30 in another. Julius Erving, who really admires Andrew Toney, says he doesn't know the meaning of the word pressure. He missed that free throw, and with a 14-point lead, the shooting percentage shows Philadelphia with a mighty lead. Under 3 minutes to go, first period. Game 6. Game of the life for both clubs for different reasons. Philadelphia has a game to give. That'll be on Toney.
You see, when the other team has controlled the pace of the game, it is very difficult for you to shoot a high percentage. And Philadelphia definitely has the edge there now. And Boston is going to have to start running their plays a little better and get inside if they want to catch up and shoot a high percentage.
We've made an improvement to famous Glidden spread house paint, but it's not on the label because the improvement's in the price. Now spread house paint is on sale for only $11.99 a gallon. And the same great improvement applies to Glidden spread oil stain. It's on sale for just $10.99 a gallon. But you better hurry. Glidden spread oil stain and spread house paint will always be great, but the prices may never be better.
Glidden, when you make a very good paint, it shows.
Have you seen the ad for Sony Betamax components? There they are, actual size. Oh, this is quite an ad. And here's a wireless remote control that does just about everything. And the recorder's so light you can take it anywhere to shoot your own movies. I'd love to shoot my own movies. Coupon. I wonder what it says. Sony's Trinicon color camera and free tape offer. I'm keeping the coupon. The Sony Betamax component system. I'm keeping the whole thing.
The British way. It means the way we care for you, both in the air and once you're here. It means double-decker buses, royal coaches, or a rental coach of your own. British Airways will arrange it at low rates. The British way means friendly inns, jolly country pubs, and a comfortable bed at a very comfortable price. British Airways will take more care of you.
Tomorrow, Andy Gannigan, the power-punching challenger, Alexis Arguello, the awesome champion. They meet for the WBC Lightweight Championship tomorrow on CBS Sports Saturday.
And one of the class figures in sports, in the boxing ring or anywhere, Alexis Arguello, you'll see you tomorrow, 4:30 Eastern on CBS Sports. Now, these are the teams that have come back from a 3-1 deficit In NBA playoff history, the Celtics, of course, in '68 did it after Philadelphia unseated them in '67. And the Celtics, of course, last year, it was here in Game 6 when the Celtics came from behind to win and then won Game 7. So a lot of people are saying that can Philadelphia handle the pressure of deja vu, meaning the same scene coming up again, and so far they've been equal to it. Maxwell gets 2. Maxwell and Bird today have scored 4 points. Bobby Jones and Julius Erving 16 if you look at the scoring of forwards. And Philadelphia, when they won game number 4 on Sunday, out-rebounded the Celtics. Boston's had a big rebounding edge otherwise. Into Cheeks. Good position by Cheeks, and Julius lost it out of bounds. Boston ball. 2:22 remaining in the first. It's been Philadelphia all the way with their biggest lead, 15. Philadelphia playing their style, as the fast break points indicate. Mostly turnovers. Maxwell lost his footing. It's Philadelphia ball. He just slipped and lost the ball.
Now, the Boston fast break is affected by the absence of Tiny Archibald in that it is nowhere near as precise. And what happens is over a period of season, you get used to one guy running fast break, and you have places you go to. And it doesn't work when there are different guys out there.
Under 2 minutes to go in the first period, and you're going to see Henderson right now. Tiny likes to penetrate, and Henderson shuffles the ball off to the side. Parrish, double team. He has 2 personal fouls. Triple team, and they call a foul in the act of shooting as Bobby Jones came over. Let's see if the foul is on him. It is. And for Bobby Jones, that is his 3rd personal foul. Tiny Archibald dislocated his left shoulder diving for a loose ball in the first minute and a half of game 3. And the Celtics are not using that as any excuses. Dawkins replaces Bobby Jones.
And here's another one of the key guys for Philadelphia, because when Darryl Dawkins is in the game and has a good game, they are just a different team. They are a great, great team. Because he does a lot of things that are subtle, and he takes up a lot of room, but he does a lot of good things.
Dawkins trying to get the loose ball, goes up, rejected by Parrish. Irving has it, 10 seconds on the clock. Philadelphia with plenty of time, and Andrew Toney misses. And Dawkins trying to keep it alive, and Caldwell Jones does to Toney. Great play by Caldwell Jones and Dawkins. Are they hustling out here in this first quarter? Now Henderson is on Julius. Bird is on Toney. Cheeks coming around the screen. And Henderson got a piece of that ball from behind Mo when he went up for the shot. 1 minute to go now. Ainge to Parrish. Blocked by Caldwell Jones. Henderson to Ainge. He was 5 for 7 Wednesday. Misses. Boston still has it. Ainge. Bird. And Larry Bird hit.
And that's moving the ball.
8-point Philadelphia lead.
Now Ainge is going to have to take a couple of those open shots and make him respect his shooting, because if he doesn't, they're going to start dropping off, because they like to double team also.
13 seconds on the shot clock, 28 seconds as now you look at the clock in the first period. Julius against Parrish does not go up against Robert. 1 second, they don't get it off. And the Celtics have 16 seconds to get the last shot off in the period. Billy Cunningham.
And as we get into the rhythm of the game, both teams are playing outstanding defense. They're keeping their rotations in sync.
Quickly, nervousness on either side. Do you detect it?
No, there's no time for that now. I mean, there's no time for either one of these teams to be nervous. They got that out of their way the first 2 minutes, and now they're getting down to what it's all about.
Bird gets inside and is fouled with 2 seconds to go. So Boston has a chance to narrow it to 6. They were down by 15 points at 25-10. And Larry Bird will go to the line. You know, it's an amazing story. A lot of people may think that Larry is having a so-so series. And, you know, it's amazing which points up his greatness, because he's leading everyone in rebounds. He's second in assists to Mo Cheeks. He's averaging almost 19 points a game, and yet people think he's not as great as he should be.
Well, when you get to be a player as great as Larry Bird or Julius Erving, when you have numbers that seem ordinary or almost ordinary, people think you're not playing. But what those two guys are doing, particularly in this series, is that they are doing a lot of things that they're not famous for. Julius Erving is playing as good a defense as anybody in basketball right now.
Well, the Celtics outscored Philadelphia 10-1 to get to within 6, and we'll be back with the second period after this word from your local station.
Saturday, Walt Disney presents Ron Howard in the heartwarming story of Smoke, a stray dog that brings a new love and a new challenge to a boy who must learn to become a man.
This is CBS.
We've made an improvement to famous Glidden spread house paint, but it's not on the label because the improvement's in the price. Now spread house paint is on sale for only $11.99 a gallon. And the same great improvement applies to Glidden spread oil stain. It's on sale for just $10.99 a gallon. But you better hurry. Glidden spread oil stain and spread house paint will always be great, but the prices may never be better.
Available at Maven Paints and Richard Harding Paint Shop.
The ultra-mileage Nissan Sentra, #1 gas mileage car. Look at that highway number. Look at it.
You need it.
Nobody has it but your Datsun dealer.
You need this mileage. It's #1. You need this car. It's #1. You need it. New Nissan Sentra. Datsun. We are driven.
Fame, the ultimate American dream, Monday.
20 Olympic medal winners play in the NBA. Davis, Jones, Ford, and me, Tom McMillan, to name just a few. Now the NBA has adopted Special Olympics. We're playing, learning, and we're having fun. We're reaching out to the mentally retarded. So together, you might call us the League of Olympians. You too can join. Please volunteer.
The preceding message has been furnished as a public service by the National Basketball Association.
We're back at the Spectrum in Philadelphia after one period of play of capacity crowd. It's a 6-point Philadelphia lead. The guards have been the big difference. Everyone talks about the big duel inside, but the guards have really made their presence felt.
And there's a reason for that, is that these teams are stronger defensively across the front in the forwards and centers. There's one thing I like to point out about Larry Bird and Julius Erving. They're doing something that is possibly the hardest thing to do in team sports. They are dominating their teams from the forward position. And that is the hardest place to do that, is the forward position in basketball.
There you see two of the great stars, Julius Erving and Larry Bird. They've guarded each other on some occasion, but not most of the time. Ainge to McHale, who starts the second quarter and misses. Ainge, the offensive rebound, misses the layup. And we'll have a Philadelphia ball just out of bounds Boston. Danny Ainge, by the way, as McHale is in the game, the only Celtic guard who's shooting above 40% from the field in this series. Ainge is guarding Andrew Toney. Tough assignment for him. Toney awfully quick. Julius cutting in. They don't go to him. Dawkins, who's had 2 good scoring games. Basket good and a foul. Darryl Dawkins had 16 points Sunday, had 14 points and 10 rebounds Wednesday.
And 3 fouls on Robert Parrish.
And 3 on Parrish, which is the big story here. Good move to the hoop by Darryl Dawkins, and he'll try to complete the 3-point play. He seems to prefer, or at least play better, coming off the bench.
A different kind of pressure.
Sixers by 8. First period shooting narrowed, as you can see. Philadelphia had the big edge early, and then they ended up with 45%. McHale. Bird finds Gerald Henderson open. Henderson misses. He was a good shooter during the season. Here's a 2-on-2 break. Cheeks trying to put a juke move. Julius. And Cheeks created it all. Irving has hit his last 4. So the Doc coming out strong in Game 6. Low Cheeks. Henderson hits that shot. Gerald Henderson averaged 10 points a game during the regular year, was 5th on the club in shooting at 50%.
That's the same shot he missed before, but that's what you have to do. You have to, if you miss that shot, open shot, you've got to take it, because if you make it, then that changes the defense.
Toney will still maintain possession. The only substitution in this game for Philadelphia has been Darryl Dawkins.
See, Philadelphia has to double team Robert Parrish, and so the guy that's double teaming him, that's the one they have to go.
Cheeks outside, top of the key.
And that's why Gerald Henderson was open for those 2 shots, and he's got to take them.
It's still Boston ball as Dawkins got a hand, and now Rick Roby's coming in. So Parrish, who has 3 personal fouls, is going to take a breather right now. And Rick Roby, who had a brilliant first game, scoring 4 over his season's high, is in the game now at center. And he can bump with the best of them.
Now, what he does for Boston is he sets a lot of picks so the guys can get open. Whereas Parrish is a shooter, this guy's a guy that sets the picks for the other guys to shoot.
Anderson, Ainge. There's Ainge shooting as you say he should. And a foul against Philadelphia under the basket. Loose ball foul on Caldwell Jones, number 1 on Jones.
See, on that shot, whether he makes it or not, if he misses 10 straight, he still has to take that shot.
Timeout, 9 minutes and 52 seconds to go in the first half. Philadelphia has had the lead. Boston has not been in front, and it's a 10-point bulge as we take a timeout.
I'm David Mahoney of Avis, and I've had it with hearing that all rent-a-car companies are alike. No way. There's no one like Avis and the Avis people, committed to giving you the car you want, when you want it, and a car that works. Now that's some job. It takes top-notch service and everyone from top to bottom busting their gut to do it right for you. That's commitment. That's trying harder. And that's what makes Avis second to none.
Steve Martin, the funniest comedian who ever lived, is Rigby Reardon in Dead Men Don't Wear Plaid. Oof. No criminal is too tough for him. No pain is too great. No joke too disgusting. When Steve Martin finds out why Dead Men Don't Wear Plaid. Rated PG.
I'll buy 2 tickets.
Now playing at a theater near you.
Light beer from Miller tastes just great, and that's no fish story. But the best thing is, it's less filling. Light's got 1/3 less calories than their regular beer, and that's important when you're trying to land that big one. Like yesterday, I hooked this bass, fought him for over 6 hours. All of a sudden, he jumps clean over the boat. Broke my rod, and I had to tie the... No, wait a minute, fellas. I had to tie the line off.
Light beer from Miller. Everything you always wanted in a beer, and less.
Left me out there with nothing but a paddle.
If you want to look at the Philadelphia 76ers, the essence of the Sixers, the way they want to play, here's an example.
Now they come up, they don't screen out as well. Boston almost comes to the ball, but there now, Barry Six comes down. Now, a lot of guys would pull up, but you can't ever pull up on a break because you might find something like this. And the key to the fast break, for all the good fast break teams, is that all 5 guys must run it even though they don't think they have a chance at the shot. You got to go down there in case there's a breakdown and a guy needs help down there. They may not be able to get the shot off. You got to fill those lanes.
Boston does not have a fast break point, as you saw. That's something they had plenty of Wednesday night when they won their second game of this series. Double team with the guard, McHale. Ainge ran Tony into a pick. Missed the layup, and so does McHale. And here comes another break, and a foul is by Danny Ainge. A personal foul on Ainge.
That's one of those, I missed his shots, I got to make up for it, fouls. And it happens quite frequently with young players.
0 for 4 from the field is Danny, and he has also committed 2 personal fouls. And the Celtics have to rely on him as the backup point guard. Right now, he's the off guard. They're going to double team Irving, and Caldwell Jones pikes it in. He had 22 points in game number 2, 10 points in the 4th quarter. He's a clutch player, loose ball, and Irving knocked it away. Tony has it. Cheeks was the trailer, but Boston comes up with it. Under 9 minutes to go in the first half. Boston sets it up. Their setup game is better with Henderson in there than with Tiny Archibald. Roby misses, but Bird follows. McHale, basket. He gets in position, and he knows the timing of the jumps to get those offensive rebounds.
because he keeps his hands up and he doesn't bring them down to jump. He uses his toes to jump, and so that he has good timing because he stays right there.
McHale and Dawkins collide.
Now there's McHale trying to get through, and I'm sure he pushed Dawkins down. Poor little guy.
Dawkins pushed Roby, and McHale went through Dawkins. The personal foul is on McHale and Clint Richardson, who has been kind of a savior for the Sixers with his outstanding play as third guard. And he's their leading offensive rebounder, believe it or not. Julius, and McHale gets the rebound. 10-point Philadelphia lead. Celtics have not had the lead. Roby goes in baseline. Good play. So Roby plays.
Outstanding play by Larry Bird. Because he drew the defense because they know he's the guy you got to guard.
Bird steals.
Another good defensive play.
You know, when the games come down to it, Larry Bird's going to be there. Ainge keeps it alive. New clock with under 8 minutes to go. 7:45 remaining in the first half.
I noticed something. This first half so far. The front line is not getting the ball where they would like to get it and when they would like to get it. And this is where they missed Tiny Archibald.
McHale turn around and a foul.
This is where they missed Tiny Archibald in trying to pick up a rhythm offensively when you're running in plays. Now Bird was free for about 4 or 5 seconds going across the lane, calling for the ball.
Mike Banham comes in the game, replaces Julius Erving, who goes out with 10. Banham has been struggling offensively. Julius, off to a good start, is the only player in double figures with 10 points thus far.
And what causes that is when a young player like Ainge, for example, is handling the ball, or Gerald Hughes, who are both young players, they are not aware enough of the game at this point to be able to know exactly when you make these moves. And this is where they missed the experience now. Fitch is counting with Chris Ford, who should be able to do that just a little better.
So Ford replaces Henderson, who has scored 4 points. And Danny Ainge will now become the point guard. He was the off guard when Henderson was in there. Celtics, by the way, haven't missed a free throw. They're perfect 8 for 8. And they're down to 6. That's the closest they've come since they were down by 15 points. Mike Banham lost his confidence offensively, both at the line and in the field. And a foul, traveling, no foul. Steps called against Philadelphia, and the Celtics can move on as Cunningham, with his arms folded, and Bill Fitch calling the play. Tony making Ainge work. 32. Larry Bird, by the way, is 1 for 5 from the field with 4 points. Roby up top. Caldwell Jones is on McHale. Bird sets a pick, and this is that back pick that we saw in the Milwaukee-Philadelphia series. McHale, turnaround shot, tipped up and in by Rick Roby. Good play by Roby, who had outstanding position. Dawkins yelling for a foul. 4-point deficit. Celtics coming back. This is their second run. McHale blocks. Ford, who doesn't have the speed, may have to slow it up. Bird. McHale late coming up as Bird hit the jump shot.
And the reason he was able to hit that jump shot, he's a great shooter, but he couldn't miss that shot because the rhythm, that defense set the rhythm for that. And once you get your defensive rhythm, it's easy to shoot.
So the Philadelphia 76ers at once had a 15-point lead. Boston has come back with 6:30 remaining, and they have scored 8 in a row.
Subaru owners have a lot in common besides all the different models they own, with front-wheel drive or on-demand four-wheel drive. They also share a habit of trading in one Subaru for another Subaru. No leading import is higher than Subaru in owner loyalty. People stick with a car they don't get stuck with. Subaru, inexpensive and built to stay that way.
This was my old routine. Bright sun, chlorine. Prevent algae, more chlorine. Pool party, lots of chlorine. Then I discovered long-lasting Pace products with stabilized chlorine that takes care of that routine. By releasing chlorine only when it's needed, Pace keeps my water sparkling clear through hot sun, algae, and heavy use. And I spend less time treating my pool and more time enjoying it.
Sparkling water longer from Pace. Chlorine without that old routine.
Now, Old Spice gives you two-fisted protection with original Old Spice deodorant and now new Super Dry Antiperspirant. Both have that famous Old Spice scent. So what's the difference? Old Spice deodorant helps knock out odor. And now new Old Spice Antiperspirant fights odor while it helps wipe out wetness. And they both work overtime. Old Spice, one name that gives you two-fisted protection.
On CBS Sports Sunday, the incomparable Mr. October.
I don't try to be different or plan to be different. I want to be regular.
Parrish and McHale amongst the block shot leaders, and Caldwell Jones and Julius Erving also in the top 10. But how do you get back in a game like this when you're trailing by as much as 15? Kevin McHale spurred it.
Here's Andrew Toney going down the middle, and Kevin McHale gets up, starts a fast break, and Larry Bird ends up with a jumper from the foul line.
So the defense has sparked the Celtics, and also a 10-3 rebounding edge this period, 6 of them off the offensive board. So the Celtics starting to play their game. Dawkins short. Roby the rebound, and the Celtics can tie it up. They have never had the lead. 6:10 remaining first half. Dick Stockton and Bill Russell from the Spectrum. Game 6. Another revival of an historic series, Philadelphia-Boston. Ford. Steps call. So the Celtics don't get the chance to tie. One of the best in the league at the fewest turnovers per minutes played is Chris Ford, so that was a rarity. Cheeks going in. Big basket for Philadelphia, even at this early stage.
And Cheeks is the guy for him, because he, as I said before, he sets the pace for him.
And a 20-second timeout called for by Boston. Irving has 10 points, Bobby Jones and Cheeks 8 for Philadelphia. For the Celtics, Robert Parrish on the bench with 3 personals has 8 points to lead the Boston Celtics. I want to remind you at halftime, we're going to show you some of the undergraduate athletes who will be eligible for the NBA's draft coming up in June.
Now that 20-second timeout was a forced timeout. Philadelphia had set up a pressing defense, and because of this lineup of players out there have not played that much together, the big guys went down court and left the guards double teamed, so they couldn't get the ball in bounds. They have to be aware that Philadelphia can set the press up at any time, and they have to be aware they have to help out sometimes.
Richardson is guarding Danny Ainge. Good defensive player, tough inside. Cheeks is on Ford. You see him trying to deny the pass to McHale. Philadelphia playing their team-trapping, all-court defense that they play so well. 6 seconds on the shot clock. Dawkins picks up Ainge, and Ford, who can hit from outside, does so. One of the better three-point shooters in the league. Still can burn the long-range shot. 5:13 to go in the half. Sixers by 2. Celtics trying to make a run. This is their second run at the lead. Cheeks goes up, loose ball. Still Sixers. Philadelphia ball. Underneath the action.
Now here's a little contact here. These guys are getting to know each other fairly well. And there goes Cheeks taking advantage while they're busy pushing each other around.
Julius Erving back in the ball game for Philadelphia. He has scored 10 points and is off to his best start offensively in the series. Cheeks banks it against Ford. Dawkins. Loose ball foul against the Celtics. Rick Roby, his first.
Now here's Dawkins getting inside position, and both these guys are pushing each other, and there's the foul they called because Dawkins moved.
Celtics have 14 fouls, and the Sixers 2 with 4:50 remaining in the first half. Celtics haven't had the lead, trailing by 2 here. They must win this game to force a 7th. And a foul, Dawkins with a good move to the hoop.
And a good block by McHale, although he hit him with his body.
You got to look at bottom as well as
here's the position. Dawkins he's getting position. He's got great position there. He goes to the basket, and there's McHale.
They now call it on Roby. They've changed call it on Roby, his second. In any event, they got him with the bottom. Dawkins has not been a good free throw shooter during the year at under 70%, but he's 8 for 9 from the line. Coming into this game, 0 for 1 before that success. Darryl Dawkins went from high school in Orlando, Florida to the pros. And when you consider what his career averages are, he really hasn't been that much of a disappointment. Sometimes you expect too much. There's Parrish with 3 fouls, and Bird on the bench getting a rest with 6 points. Philadelphia by 4. Ainge working against Richardson, baseline. McHale trying to keep it alive. Bantam the rebound. Bantam may be slumping offensively, but they still lead him for the defense and the rebounds. What a pass! Cheeks again to Richardson. But it's Mo Cheeks that makes this team go. No question about it.
It looks like Philadelphia's fought off another Boston charge. They've made a couple of runs at him so far after Philadelphia got the 15-point lead. And they got it down to 2. They got it down to 6 points, and then they fell back. They got it down to 2 points, and they fell back. And they just fell back again, I think. Now they got to regroup again.
So Bird, you see, back in the ball game. And Roby goes out. Rick Roby picked up 2 fouls and had 4 points. Bantam fighting for the loose ball, and it's Philadelphia ball. So credit Mike Bantam with a good defensive play against Cedric Maxwell. Under 4 minutes remaining in the first half, and Bantam acquired in January from Indiana. 30-year-old veteran. 3:45 to go. Julius double teamed, and they're going to call a Boston foul. That'll be the 15th foul on the Celtics, and Julius.
Maxwell thought they had called charging. Here's Julius. See, Philadelphia had some good picks along the paint, as they call it, 3-second zone.
Maxwell's second personal foul. Julius 63%, 19 of 30 coming into this ball game in the series.
And those picks are designed not to stop the defensive man, but to get him a step behind, so that he's trying to play defense from behind. And most of the times you'll either foul or not make a defensive play you shouldn't make.
The only thing Julius Erving hasn't won is a world title. If the Sixers win this game, he'll have his chance against the LA Lakers starting Sunday here at the Spectrum. So you're right, Bill. They fought off that one surge and 6 straight points for Philadelphia. 8-point lead, 3.5 to go, and another turnover. Cheeks. Lost it. Regained it. How did that go in? Timeout.
Maurice Cheeks again.
And Maurice Cheeks has been the key to this ball club. Irving's having a good game, but it's Mo Cheeks, no question.
Yes, because when he's playing good and aggressive offensively, their defense works much better. They make a lot of steals defensively because he puts such a strain on the offense when he's playing on the other team's defense when he's playing that it really creates problems.
This roomy, inexpensive Subaru station wagon not only goes far on a gallon of gas, it also goes almost anywhere on a gallon of gas, thanks to front-wheel drive. But if you want more traction than our wagon with front-wheel drive, we suggest our wagon with on-demand 4-wheel drive. Subaru, inexpensive, and built to stay that way.
1952, George Stephen invents the incredibly durable Weber kettle. Incredible. It soon becomes the best-loved way to broil burgers and roast the Thanksgiving turkey.
We love it.
But nobody loves cleaning out the ashes.
We don't love that.
Weber engineers, deep in thought, invent the one-touch system. Weber's one-touch opens to circulate heat and seal in the juices. Ooh. Weber's one-touch closes to put out the fire. Best of all, Weber's one-touch sweeps out all the ashes.
Thank you.
You're welcome. The Weber one-touch, only from Weber.
When Sears puts a muzzler on your car, we'll stand behind it, no matter what. Year after year, mile after mile, if it fails, we'll replace it free. Yet the muzzler muffler's only $24.99 installed in only an hour after you're okay or the labor's free.
And if you need your brakes fixed, have confidence. Sears can fix them the day you come in or the next working day. At Sears Tire and Auto Centers, we install confidence. You can count on Sears.
Dick Stockton and Bill Russell at the spectrum. The two key men that Bill Russell talked about. Parrish on the bench with 3 personal fouls. Maurice Cheeks has 3 of the 7 baskets the Sixers have scored in this period and has assisted on 3 others. So far, Cheeks has the edge, and so does Philadelphia.
As it should be. What I mean by that is when Cheeks has the advantage and Parrish doesn't, then Philadelphia should be ahead.
We don't want people to misunderstand you in Beantown, do we?
Any place.
They're getting the clock straightened out. Sixers have run off 8 straight points. Billy Cunningham, who goes back to the bench, said that his players have not discussed at all last year and the fact that they lost the series after leading 3-1. He said it's something the press talks about, but let's face it, it has to be in the back of the mind. 3:12 to go in the first half. 10-point lead. Steal, Cheeks. He'll get an easy 2. That's highway robbery. Under 3 to go in the half. Ford comes back with 2. He started
the first shot. They needed that bad.
Started the first 52 games of the year, did Chris Ford. A back injury set him down and did not regain the starting lineup. But obviously, Bill Fitch will need his experience and savvy here in this important game.
And they've got the Celtics, if they're going to be competitive in this game, they've got to get back in the next 2 minutes and get back in this ball game.
It's going to be Boston ball as Cheeks' shot goes into the crowd.
Now they got 2.5 minutes left, and they've got to finish strong at this half. They're going to have a real. It's going to be a little. That'll be a steep hill.
Ainge, the point guard with Ford. Henderson's been on the bench. McHale guarded by Dawkins. Bannum and Maxwell inside. Ainge over Cheeks, and Danny Ainge hits. He was 5 for 7, but he's 1 for 6. He was 5 for 7 in game 5. But that's his first basket in 6 tries in this game.
And that could be a very important shot, because if he does that again the next time down and gets confidence, then he can cause some problems for the defense.
Under 2 minutes to go in the first half. Celtics have not had the lead. It's been Philadelphia. They've warded off 2 Boston threats, and the Celtics making another one here. Richardson on Ainge. Ford is calling the play. He's the relay man and the more experienced guard, so he's telling the rest of the club what's coming in. Ainge trying to get hot. This is the shot, Bannum the rebound. Give it to Cheeks. Sixers had a 15-point lead. It was cut to 2. They upped it to 12. And here comes the release. Ford ahead of the field. 6-point deficit. Boston back in the thick of it. And Andrew Toney is ready to come back. Celtics have run off 6 in a row, and now a 22nd timeout has been called by Philadelphia. So in the ebb and flow of things, right now this is Boston's moment.
Yes, they need to play strong now. They've got to play good defense and get a good shot every time. Now it's important to get a good shot, not that they have to make it, but to establish the fact that they can get it, and they will take the open shot.
And the Sixers have to get back on defense and not allow the guards to release early, as Chris Ford did here. This was the first fast break point of the game for the Celtics, right here.
And they get theirs off of missed shots. Good rebound by Maxwell. He looks up court and just drops it out there. Now that was a great pass, although it doesn't look like very much. But what he did not try to pass that ball to Chris Ford. He just threw it out there with the right velocity so that Chris Ford could run to the ball. And that way you don't have to be very accurate, but it has to be the right velocity. That's imperative.
Did you ever make passes like that when you played?
Yes.
Ford, by the way, is 3 for 3 from the field.
And the reason I did it was if you make a good pass, you didn't have to go up court.
Andrew Toney back in the game. This is the baseline shot, and the Celtics can narrow it to 4 points. Toney is on Ainge.
Next time I get you for shoving.
Ford is calling the play. You can see number 42 in the right. He's the floor general, even though he's not the point guard. Ainge to Ford. Hasn't missed a shot yet. And that's the first one. Bannum with 3 important defensive rebounds. 39 seconds to play in the half. Julius. Finger roll. And 14 points for Julius Erving. 6 for 11 from the field. And that's a big basket. 15 on the shot clock for the Celtics. Irving is guarding Bird. Misses the attempt of the steal. Double team. Ford hits him inside.
Great play by Larry Bird. That's one thing. Now, he knows that he draws double coverage. And he's a great passer. And he made that great pass to Chris Ford. And what's good about being a great passer, you know to cut. Because if you're free, they'll get the ball to you.
Final seconds. Tony in the lane. Blocked by McHale. Irving did not have control as the first half ends. Game 6. The Celtics face elimination. The Sixers face the Lakers if they win this game. Another important contest in this rivalry. And we're at halftime with the score 48-42, Philadelphia.
I tell you, with girls, I never had any luck, you know. Well, I used to call information just to get a woman to talk to me. You live around here? Then I found light beer from Miller. Well, light's less filling and it really tastes great. Now, I'll tell you, since I discovered light beer, women are always talking to me, you know. Hi. You come here often?
Get lost.
See what I mean?
Light beer from Miller. Everything you always wanted in a beer, and less.
I tell you, she's crazy about me.
If you had a favorite airplane, this one's going to take its place. United 767. United helped design this plane with wider seats along twin aisles. 88% of them are next to an aisle or next to a window, and overhead, 50% more room. The new generation jet, United's 767, this fall. Thief, conqueror, king, Conan.
Let us take the world by the throat and make it give us what we desire.
Conan the Barbarian. Rated R. Now playing at a theater near you.
Quality products. The Miller Brewing Company, brewers of Miller High Life. If you've got the time, we've got the beer. And by the 4 sugar-free flavors of Elements.
Dick Stockton and Bill Russell back at the Spectrum. This is Game 6, best of 7, Boston, Philadelphia. Halftime statistics. The shooting close together. Boston ended up with a rebounding edge after Philadelphia had the early bulge, and the rest of it is kind of even, although Boston's turned the ball over 3 more times than Philadelphia. Looking at the scoring for the Boston Celtics, Parrish and Ford with 8. Ford 4 for 5 from the field. And for Philadelphia, Julius Irving has 14 points on 6 for 12 shooting, and Maurice Cheeks 12 points on 5 for 10. Keep in mind, if Philadelphia wins, they eliminate the Celtics and face the Lakers Sunday in the first game of the World Championship Finals. If the Celtics win, it forces Game 7 Sunday at Boston Garden. In any event, you will see Sunday's game 3:30 Eastern Time on CBS. Third period action underway, and Gerald Henderson in the backcourt with ML Carr. Larry Bird, Cedric Maxwell, and Robert Parrish with 3 personals up front, the same team that started the game, and Bird starts out. Closest the Celtics have come, 2 points. At 36-34. Tony, 1 for 7 shooting. 10 seconds on the shot clock. Irving for 3. Wild air ball. But Bobby Jones saves it to Cheeks. Cheeks penetrating to Irving. They can't make it. Caldwell Jones, he can't make it. And it's Boston ball. And Philadelphia a little frustrated on their bench because the Sixers had a bundle of chances.
Good defense will make you miss things that seem like a chance. They're not a good chance when you're in there with good shot blockers like both of these teams have.
4-point lead. Bird hit his first shot. Getting close there. Maxwell, offensive rebound. Parrish. The ball knocked away by Caldwell Jones. Julius to Bobby Jones. Bird back. And they're going to call. Basket is good. Jones and Bird collided, and the basket is good, and a foul on Larry Bird, his first for the game. Boy, Bobby Jones really had to make a move with Bird seemingly in position.
Now there's the shot. It's a long shot. Rebound. Maxwell gets in there. He misses the shot. Parrish comes up with it. And There's Maurice Cheeks again.
Yeah, it was Cheeks.
Good. Here's a play by Bobby Jones.
Changed hands. Good move on the layup. He completed the three-point play. Philadelphia by 7. Bobby Jones on ML Carr. Tony is guarding Bird. They want to get the ball to Bird. Parrish instead shoots from outside, and Julius comes down with it. Bird was posting Tony up, meaning he was under the basket against Andrew, and traveling called against Cheeks. Boston ball. Minute and a half gone by, third period.
Now what Boston's trying to do is their best outside shooter, aside from Larry Bird or Chris Ford, is Robert Parrish. And we can put Bird and Maxwell on the offensive boards, what they're trying to do.
Tony on Bird again. Now Bobby Jones picks him up. They turn it over. Philadelphia ball.
And Boston's getting off to a slow start offensively in the third quarter, just like they did the first quarter.
Each side with a turnover in this period. Andrew Tony 1 for 7. Maxwell steals the pass from Bobby Jones. He was trying to get it to Doc. Bird. Henderson is open. Bird trying to keep it alive. It's still Boston ball. Knocked out of bounds by Bobby Jones. And now we're going to have a timeout. 9:54 remaining in the third period. And the Sixers are up by 7.
Now, you know that these teams, neither one is playing very well right now. It's kind of ragged. And I think this is because of the tension. Nerves. Both teams have a case of it.
And the first title opportunity for Andy Gannigan from Hawaii against Arguello. The WBC Lightweight Championship, CBS Sports Saturday. The Los Angeles Lakers are in Los Angeles. In fact, they're at Television City at Hollywood, where they are viewing the ball game. And we'll view it when it comes on in Los Angeles. Ready to make a move. Bird. And Larry's starting to find the mark. He has 10 points in the ball game. Celtics down by 5. They have not had the lead in the ball game. Steps against Bobby Jones, and the Celtics can cut it to 3. Darryl Dawkins on the bench has played well the last couple of games. Leading rebounder also for Philadelphia in the last contest Wednesday night. Henderson going to Maxwell. And Cheeks grabs the ball away and a foul. Loose ball on Maxwell, who, after Cheeks stole the ball, came in and fouled him. But Mo Cheeks is doing some highway robbery in this game, Russ.
Well, he's double teaming from the blind side. In other words, he's coming up right behind the guy and then going around and get the ball now. When you're double teamed with these teams, you have to notice that and be ready for it.
Maxwell gets it right back. Cheeks with him, and Maxwell gets the basket and a foul. So turnabout is fair play, you might say right here. It was Maxwell.
That's a little better than turnabout because they came up with 2, so you got a 4-point swing.
His leg's been hurt, by the way. He knocked knees with Bobby Jones and hasn't been 100%, but he rambled in for the basket and the foul by Mo. Cheeks' first personal foul, and Maxwell with a 3-point play, and it's 51-49. Closest they've been, Lionel Hollins has played the last couple of games with a new split on the broken finger in his shooting hand. Now the Celtics trapping on defense. Caldwell Jones out, Parrish to meet him. 7 seconds on the shot clock. Tony guarded by Bird, double team, Cheeks wide open, he'll shoot. Bird to rebound, and Boston has a 3-on-1. Henderson. Maxwell to follow up.
And the game is tied.
And the first tie of the ball game. 7 straight points run off by the Celtics, and Billy wants a timeout. 51-51, and look at Chris Ford, what a leader he is, a veteran who no longer starts. But the Celtics are a together kind of team, and with 8:31 remaining in the third period, they've come back to tie it. Led the NBA in field goal percentage 2 years.
He is not Rudolph Nuyev in terms of grace and style, but he's very effective.
Lionel Hollins is in the ball game. seeing his first action. He has played in 2 games, played 18 minutes Wednesday, and was 1 for 7 from the field. Collins, the regular guard, along with Cheeks. Irving right of the key, wild shot. Caldwell Jones had it, knocked out of bounds by Henderson, still Philadelphia ball.
That is not the shot that Philadelphia wants. Not that James can't shoot a jump shot, but that particular shot is not the one they want.
Bird picks up Cheeks on the switch. Bobby Jones, guard trying to deny him a pass. He's double teamed and in trouble. Steps call, traveling, and Boston has a chance to take the lead for the first time in the game.
And the defense is coming to fore with both clubs. Now, they let Cheeks let himself get cornered, and they put defensive pressure on him, and there's a pivot foot moving.
Sixers have turned the ball over 5 times already this half. Under 8 minutes to go. Bird again. No. Collins. He is not quite in the shape he should be in because he's been sidelined. Julius goes up and will go to the line. Now Parrish has picked up his 4th personal foul. So add that to the ingredients to the pot that's boiling right now. 51-51. Celtics last year won the 6th game to break an 11-game losing streak at the Spectrum. They won 2 games here during the regular season as the Celtics won the season series 4-2. Julius, the leading scorer in the game with 15, looking for 16. And he has not missed from the line yet. 4 for 4. The foul story, Parrish with 4, Maxwell with 3, Bobby Jones with 3 for Philadelphia. Parrish turnaround, short. Philly ball.
And Robert Parrish is having a long night tonight. He's got those fouls, and that can throw your shooting off as much as anything. Because you're worried about, are they going to call an offensive foul or something like that, and you have to be very careful. And you start thinking about things that you... And when you start thinking, that'll throw your shooting off quicker than anything.
He's missed his last 5 shots, has 8 points all in the first quarter. Julius is sandwiched and blocked, and it's still Philadelphia ball. 3 seconds, now 5 seconds on the shot clock. M.L. Carr is guarding Hollins, who's played on a championship at Portland. He knows what it's all about. There's a chance to get into the title round again. And Julius Irving stepped on the line. Boston ball. 7:02 to go in the 3rd. 6 turnovers for Philadelphia in this half. And we're not even halfway through the 3rd period. Henderson open. Baseline. Boy, he can leap high. That's been his reputation as a quick jump shot. He's improved his defense this year. Bobby Jones and Bird. Julius. Caldwell Jones follow-up.
That's because Robert Parrish had to go for Julius, and then he had to leave Caldwell, and he's right there for the offensive board.
Henderson with a screen from Parrish. Cheeks comes up to meet him, and Caldwell Jones asserting himself on the boards. 2-on-1 break. Cheeks to Bobby Jones, and Philadelphia running it up, and right now, meaning running the game, and the court, Bill Fitch doesn't want to take any more chances. He's seen his team come back, and he wants to stop it right now with 6:12 to go in the 3rd. 4-point Philadelphia lead. And Caldwell Jones now has 10 rebounds in the game. Robert Parrish has been the key, the barometer for the Boston Celtics.
And he's not having one of his better nights.
8 points, 4 personal fouls. Great game in Game 5. He was superb in Game 1. 4-point lead, 6 minutes to go in the 3rd. Julius tried to overplay Maxwell, and it's still Celtic ball with 9 seconds on the shot clock. Billy Cunningham, All-American in North Carolina, played on a title team in '67 here in Philadelphia. They have 5 seconds to get the ball out. Bird. Parrish keeps it going. Turnaround, and a big basket for the Celtics. Rick Roby, the backup center on the bench. 10 points for Robert Parrish.
They have to get a good second half out of him. They need that badly.
Dr. J has missed his last 5 shots. He's 0 for 4 here in the period after starting the game red hot. He's guarded by Maxwell. Hollins not taking a shot yet. That one is off the glass. Celtics can tie it up again. They knotted it up at 51. They were once down by 15 early in the first quarter. Bird outside. High post Parrish. Carr driving the hoop and ties it up. He made a move against Cheeks.
That was an excellent pass by Robert Parrish, too, because he had to get that one because he was cutting real good and didn't have much, only had a half a step.
Under 5 minutes to go, third period. The Celtics chance to win a back-to-back title in jeopardy here. Bird steals it. Carr. Hollins tried to draw a charge, and Henderson can't lay it up, and a foul on Boston. M.L. Carr. Let's watch Parrish to Carr in that pass you were talking about.
Now there goes Carr right there. And got it off.
Team foul, Celtics 4, Philadelphia Sixers 1. Important with 4:35 remaining.
Another foul on M.L. Carr away from the ball.
And that's the 15th foul. Danny Ainge is back, and now Philadelphia will go to the line and shoot. So Lionel Hollins will go to the line and shoot 1 in the penalty on the 5th time as he's got a good long look to Danny Ainge coming in the game. Henderson goes out. Hollins. That's a shooting hand, in which the broken finger occurred. Made 1 of 2. So Ainge the point guard now. Cheeks is guarding him. Bobby Jones on Bird. Irving on Maxwell. And of course Caldwell Jones on Parrish, the matchups. They double and triple team Maxwell, leaving Danny Ainge wide open. Bird inside, blocked by Julius. Blocked again, and Caldwell Jones the rebound. Reminiscent in the final seconds of game 3, when Maxwell couldn't score and tie it up. Hollins outside. Bobby Jones, offensive rebound and a loose ball foul against Boston. Now listen to the crowd. It's on Bird as second.
Here's a shot that's missed. Long rebound. It was Bobby Jones, and Maxwell seems to have collided with Bird.
Foul is on Bird. Bobby Jones only his second free throw miss in this series. Under 4 minutes to go, third period. Two-point Philadelphia lead. A close battle has been the exception and not the rule. Foul on Cheeks. Cheeks fouled Danny Ainge. Jack Madden right there to call it. Cheeks' second foul, and the second team foul on Philly.
Now he's going to reach in right there.
All right, Boston has it back to live action. Looking for Parrish. Double team. Parrish aims to get free and a foul. No offensive foul. Hollins blocked the shot, and Danny Ainge is called for his third personal foul. He was totally in over his head last Sunday. Came back and was a respectable Wednesday night. But a rookie finding out what it's all about in these playoffs with Philadelphia. Less than 3.5 to go in this third period. Sixers want to wrap it up in 6. Irving not hit a shot this period. Cheeks could pass Hollins, and Hollins lost it. Here's Maxwell, or McHale, coming back in the ball game. Kevin McHale is back in the game. Maxwell goes out, and Maxwell scored 9 points and has 3 fouls. Sixers have turned the ball over 8 times this period. The fact that they're leading still with that. Parrish in the lane over Caldwell Jones. Tipped up, here comes Doc. He's got Hollins, Cheeks, and Bobby Jones on his foul. He'll go to the line and shoot a pair.
Now here comes the doctor in open court, where he's extremely dangerous. There's the play right there. Foul on Danny Ainge.
His fourth foul. So Ainge has 4. Casey Jones, along with Jimmy Rogers, Bill Fitch's assistant, with a word of instruction for Danny. And encouragement, I'm sure. Celtics have been over the limit. Julius Erving came into this game shooting 63% from the free throw line in the series, but he's now 5 for 6. First miss of the game. Third rebound. Sixers by 3. We are setting up a whale of a fourth period. Philadelphia, 13th foul, non-shooting. Loose ball foul. It's on Hollins. First foul. First foul on Hollins. Bird, McHale, Caldwell Jones defending, and they call the foul on C. Jones. And the Philadelphia bench is really up in arms at Jack Madden. Caldwell Jones' third personal foul.
And Kevin McHale is a little too quick for Caldwell when he gets in that close. Because he's deceptive looking. He's like a colt with long legs and everything, but he's very quick. That's one of the reasons he's such a good defensive shot blocker and a good rebounder.
Ainge shooting over Irving. Parrish trying to fight for the loose ball, and we have a pushing foul. Loose ball against the Celtics.
Robert Parrish again.
That would be number 5.
Right.
5 on Robert Parrish. And so the Celtics, who played the final quarter in game number 3 without Parrish, and the end of the game in game 4 may not have him for the game number 6, the crucial game right now, as Roby replaces him. There's Rick. So as Bill Russell pointed out at the top, Robert Parrish, the key, the barometer to the Celtics. He has 5 fouls on the bench with 10 points, with 2:26 to go in the third, shooting 4 of 10. Meanwhile, Maurice Cheeks, the man he said was the key for the Sixers, has 12 points and has been a great spark for this team today.
Now they are still a good rebounding team, and they're still a quick team. But as I say in the first half, what Roby brings is a guy that's setting a lot of picks for guys to get free.
And he can run, too.
And he doesn't mind hitting anyone.
Rick Roby played on NIT championship and NCAA championship teams at the University of Kentucky. 2:20 to go. Play high post. Ainge looking for Bird. Open his car for the moment. Hollins staying with him. Hollins in there for his defense. Traveling call against Boston. Hollins is in the game, not for his scoring, but for his defense. Under 2 minutes to go in the third period. Chris Ford, 4 for 5 in the field. We'll see him again. Hollins. Ainge, the rebound. Bird pulls up. Celtics crashing the board. And a foul on Philadelphia.
Bobby Jones.
Carr, McHale, and Roby crashed the boards. And that's what's so tough. They can really beat up on the inside. 4 fouls on Bobby Jones. He's got the most of any Philadelphia player. He has scored 14. Next second to Irving, 17. And Darryl Dawkins comes back in the game. Hand for Bobby Jones. 14 points. The Celtics have not missed a free throw. They're 9 for 9 in the game. Philadelphia 18 to 23.
That's not shabby either.
No, it isn't. Andrew Toney back in the game, too. So Dawkins and Toney in for Philadelphia. Bobby Jones and Mo Cheeks are out. First miss of the game for Boston. From the line, 1:43 to play in the third. 5-point Philadelphia lead. And now it's 4. Biggest margin was 15 early. Celtics came back to tie it at 51 all, 53 apiece, and 57 all. Hollins low to Dawkins. Air ball. Bird, 3-on-2. Roby. Step on the line. No, travel. Turnover anyway. That's where the Celtics can really whip you up front. They've got a lot of bodies that can come in waves. Roby is just one of them. This is the big moment for the Celtics. They're trailing here. They lose this game, they're out of it. No chance to repeat as champions. Celtics are the last team to win back-to-back titles, 68-69, when Bill Russell was their coach. Collins. 1 second. They don't get it off. The 24-second clock elapses, and Boston has it. 1 minute to go in the third. Cunningham frustrated. They didn't get the instruction. And a 20-second timeout called for by Boston. Here's Billy. 5 out was what he was signaling his team.
And he's also telling them they have to know how much time is on the clock.
We have had only one down-on-the-wire game. That was Game 3 when Philadelphia won 99-97. In the last 3 years, these teams have played 35 games. Philadelphia has an 18-17 edge.
For 5 years?
3.
3 years.
Pretty good.
That's a lot of games to have a one-game difference. It's almost like a flip of the coin as to who's the better team.
Last year, Celtics by 1 in Game 7. They're trying to get to Game 7 here. And they badly want another shot at a title. Or I should say a shot at another title. Under a minute to go. There have been no field goals in the game the last 3.5 minutes, only free throws, and that indicates that. 3.5 minutes with no baskets. 15 seconds on the shot clock for the Celtics. Bird will trigger it in. Tony on Ainge. Now Collins picks up Danny. Offensive foul, Roby. He pushed Dawkins. For Roby, his third. Celtics have turned it over 3 straight times down the court. With 45 seconds to go here in the third period. The Celtics have not had a lead in the game. They've been tied 3 separate occasions. 13 on the 24-second clock. Collins trying to get the shooting eye. And they call a basket. They may call that as a basket. Yes, McHale interfered. Interference with the ball on top of the rim. Credit the basket to Hollins. And a 6-point Philadelphia lead.
They need to get a basket this time. They need to finish the quarter with a good play.
Roby to McHale. Basket counts and a foul. And there's the pass. Kevin McHale. And you talk about a big play. Could you ask for a bigger one now?
No, but there's still 10 seconds. And they cannot let up and let Philadelphia get a good shot off in this last 10 seconds. What they probably may do is put some backcourt pressure so that there's resistance to getting the ball to the front court.
You saw Cheeks come in. The personal was on Julius Erving as first. And McHale for the 3-point attempt here. Kevin 14 for 17 coming into this game from the line. There have been 16 turnovers in this period alone. Philadelphia committing 9, Boston 7. That's a lot. 3-point play, 3-point lead. Final
Philadelphia getting it up.
Hollins going around against Bird, puts up a looper, and that'll do it. Bird, if it goes, it counts. It won't. But that's it. Boston finishes with a 3-point play. Look at the enthusiasm on their bench. But they've got to win this game, otherwise they're through. And we'll be back with the start of the big 4th period after this word from your local station. Boston's defense has done the job. The Sixers have gone down in scoring each period. How do you look at the game right now, Bill?
You know, that's not very many points. 64 and 61 is not very many points. Both teams are playing good defense, and both teams, to me, that's an indication that they're feeling the pressure.
This crowd, Bill Cunningham said, won't affect the Celtics, but could be a boost to his club, Philadelphia. 12 minutes. That could be all that's left to the Boston Celtics season. They trail by 3 as we start the 4th period. Dick Stockton and Bill Russell. Cheeks and Tony, who's 1 for 7. 1 for 8 now. And Ainge. Good rebound for Danny. Celtics now by 3. Ainge and Carr in the backcourt. Roby, Bird, and McHale up front. Parrish on the bench with 5 personal fouls. Dawkins and Caldwell-Jones in the lineup along with Irving. M.L. Carr over Tony. Good defense by Andrew. Good defense by Andrew Tony.
And that's, they don't like to play one-on-one like that, if they can avoid it.
Game 6.
Freelance, yes, but one-on-one, no.
The specter of Philadelphia blowing the 3-1 lead last year hangs up, and a block shot by McHale, I believe, inside. Bird coming back. McHale with the block. Larry goes in, and the foul before the basket. It is on Julius Irving, his second foul, non-shooting. The Celtics have lost only 1 in 11 on the road when they hold the opponent under 100. And right now, it looks like they will. It doesn't mean they'll win, but it looks like they will.
Hold the team under 100.
Dawkins, another foul, or his second personal, but 2 in a row. Bill Fitch sweating this one out. Not to mention Billy C at the other end. McHale, they double-team him. Ainge left of the key. McHale tries to keep it going, and Caldwell-Jones, the rebound. Cheeks. Did he lose it? Knocked away, still Philadelphia ball. M.L. Carr last year in the 6th game against Philadelphia made the key steal. Ainge following Cheeks around. 9-second shot clock. Irving in the lane. Caldwell-Jones over McHale. Wild shot. That wasn't a good one, and a foul the other way. It's against Dawkins. Dawkins is really upset with Jack Madden. Loose ball on Dawkins, his 3rd foul. Here's how it happened.
There's a shot, the rebound. There, they got arms locked. There, with the arms locked. Now, who locked who is the question. It doesn't make any difference now.
No points have been scored yet in this period, but Philadelphia quickly has 3 team fouls. Roby double team against Dawkins. Would like to see Darrell get 4. Doesn't get the 4th foul. Philadelphia comes out with it. Irving maintains control of Tony. Julius has 17, but only 3 in the last quarter. Basket, good, and a foul. And the Doc, this could be Doc's period to wrap it up for Philadelphia. The pressure is immense here, and Parrish will come back with 5 fouls. They're not going to wait any longer.
Now, here's 2 things can happen. Boston needs Robert Parrish in their offense to open it up. Philadelphia is going to go after him, but they probably will not go after him one-on-one.
Tonight.
Right now, the crowd is having a great time because the Sixers are up by 5 with 9:46 remaining in the 4th period. Let's join them. But you know what the visitors say, the greatest sound on the road is silence, and that's what Boston wants to create as you look at the timeout picture.
For one of these teams, this almost 10 minutes is going to seem like an eternity.
That's right. I want to ask you this question right now. Looking at Philadelphia's history, last year in particular, because these players were here. They blew a 3-1 lead. People say they may do it again. And the ugly word in sports is choke. What do you think of that word?
I think it's not used by people that have played in key ball games. Because what happens is people assume that you're not playing up to your ability under stress. But what happens is, of all the things that go to make a good ball player, the best team always wins.
Bird left of the key, misses. McHale keeps it alive, and a foul. Against Philadelphia, Maurice Cheeks. Cunningham complains about the call. And you know,
so the combination of things that it takes to make a good team. Here's McHale getting the Bird misses the jump shot. And the ball takes a nice bounce. Des McHale keeps it alive.
Goes straight up.
Straight up. Best of the arms and the leg. You notice he goes straight up without gathering himself. And Les Cunningham is not too pleased with that.
14 fouls against Philadelphia already with 9:27. So they'll be in the penalty. McHale, next foul. McHale hits the free throw. He has 8 points. Cheeks has 3 personal fouls. And now 9 for McHale.
Just to finish that point, I remember for years used to hear that in football that Dallas used to choke in the big games until they got the personnel to make them the winners, and then they stopped talking, and then they start picking another team. But what happens until you have that personnel, you won't win those big games.
Julius working against Bird, finds Caldwell Jones. Irving, the rebound. On the floor, tries to get it out, and it's going to be a backcourt violation. Boston ball. Let me tell you about the shooting lately. The Celtics have made 1 of their last 9 shots. The Sixers 2 of their last 14. So they're not really shooting the eyes out of the basket right now.
Well, that's because of the combination of good defense and the guys are a little tight, both teams.
3 minutes gone by, final period. Sixers by 4. Celtics have never had the lead. They need the lead to survive in the series. Parrish goes up. Bird tips it in. Larry Bird, big play. Bird. 12 points for Bird. And the Celtics trail by 2. Cheeks in the lane. The crowd of green shirts misses Parrish. And here comes the Boston break. Page, Henderson, and Larry Bird. And a foul. And that's the 15th foul on Philadelphia. Arnold Red Auerbach, the mastermind of the Boston Celtic championship team, current president and general manager. Tony, second personal foul.
Now here's Parrish getting a good. Now here comes the rebound. Larry Bird.
Yeah. McHale got a hand in there too, but they gave it to Bird. Henderson shooting.
And he can tie it up with these 2.
Foul was on Tony, his second. Tie. Well, he got it. He tied at 51, 53, 57, and 67.
I want to tell you something, Dick. I used to hate to play in these kind of games.
Yeah, but you won most of it.
I still hated it.
8:19 to go. Bobby Jones, no good. Bird the rebound. And keep in mind that when the going is really rough at the end, Larry Bird has been the player who wants the ball, the man who always makes the key play. He already has 15 rebounds. And nail-biting on the side is Billy Cunningham. Irish turnaround. The Celtics are cooking now. They have their lead for the first time in the game. Celtics lead for the first time. They need to win to send us to Sunday's 7th game. Tony's shot blocked
by McHale.
And the Celtics are playing their best ball of the game right now. Parrish playing with 5 personal fouls. Tremendous excitement at the Spectrum, as only these 2 teams can provide it. And a Boston foul. Here's McHale's block.
Tony makes the move. Now what Ainge did, McHale is right there, gets it. What Ainge did is he made Tony go with his left hand. Because he's right-handed, naturally you expect him to be a half a step slower, and that way you can get to the ball a little better. That helped out for McHale, because if he was going to his right, I don't think he could have gotten to the ball.
Julius misses outside. Parrish knocks away his teammate Bird. So Parrish plays superbly with 5 fouls, now or never for Boston. McHale, by the way, had picked up his second foul. Boston has 2 teams with less than 7.5 to go. 4th period. The Celtics, desperation time. They lead by 2 points. 4 points now. And Parrish, playing with 5 fouls, has come in and contributed. And Philadelphia faces that specter once more. Timeout. And the Celtics have come on with a rush.
There's plenty of time
for a lot of things to happen.
on CBS Sports.
The Celtics have scored 10 straight points to take their biggest lead of the game, 4 points. Robert Parrish in the game with 5 personal fouls, and the leading scorer, second leading rebounder in the series, has done an incredible job. The Chief, who really has turned this ball club around this year with intimidation inside and superb all-round play. The man you said was key, along with Maurice Cheeks in this series, in this game.
And now the only question is, how long will he be able to play with the 5 fouls? And the other thing is, Maurice Cheeks has not been as aggressive the second half as he was the first half.
And they need that. Here he is with the ball, with Tony in the backcourt. Caldwell Jones, Bobby Jones, and Julius Erving, the same 5 that started the game. Henderson watching Cheeks. Ainge on Tony. Tony has not scored this game. He has scored, but nothing like he can. 1 second on the clock, and it's off the side. Good defense. Henderson to Bird, driving in, and the man wants the ball when the heat is on. And the Celtics are up by 6.
Now, Philadelphia, if they're going to win this game, they're going to have to get something going pretty.
Tony working against Ainge. Cheeks, top of the key. And that doesn't fall. Parrish with another rebound.
1 shot.
8 rebounds for Robert Parrish. Again, we must tell you, he's playing with 5. The Philadelphia bench, they don't want to go to Boston for Game 7. They know what's happened in the past in that situation. Larry Bird off balance. Parrish keeps it alive. Boston ball. Nearly halfway through this final period. Parrish no good. Irving coming out with it to Cheeks. Boston back on the D. Cheeks all the way. Fouled by Henderson. And Cheeks will go to the line on the 3rd team foul on the Boston Celtics.
Now they're taking Andrew Toney out and they're putting in Lionel Hollins. And one of the reasons that he has to do that is when a coach is making a decision on who to play and who not to play, he has to look at all the benefits and all the liability every player brings to the game, considering the guys that are out there. They are not moving the ball well. And with Lionel Hollins, they have better movement than with Andrew Toney, although Tony's a better shooter.
So where they want to get their offense from with Tony out of there?
Well, they would like to get that play with Julius and Caldwell Jones.
Tony 1 for 10 from the field as Hollins replaces him. And they'll have a foul on Philadelphia.
Bobby Jones.
And for Jones, that's number 5 on Bobby with 5:45 remaining in the 4th period. And all of a sudden, Philadelphia, which has been in the penalty, with 5:45 to go. Nate Tiny Archibald. And I don't think we can talk any more than what you said about the fact that the Celtics do certain things better with Tiny in there. But they have to play with Henderson, and he was in there when they won 18 straight.
You know, I missed most of the finals one year because of injuries. And that was probably the toughest playoff I ever had, missing games and thinking that how much you could help your team and not being able to.
McHale, 6 of 7 from the line, blocked by McHale. Basket will count. He dropped the ball against the glass. So the credit the basket to Mo Cheeks, who has 15 in the game.
You notice that Maurice Cheeks did something he hadn't done in the second half. He took it right to him. There's the block right there into the...
Correct call. Henderson down the lane over a pushing foul. 2 shots
on Maurice Cheeks, yes.
4 fouls on Maurice Cheeks. And the Sixers are over the limit. Ainge will talk to Bill Fitch right now. Ainge is the off guard, meaning that he is the guard who doesn't necessarily bring up the ball. He can bring it up, but his job is to get free, set screens, and do other things while Henderson controls the tempo. Jerry, who was the 64th player chosen in 1979 by San Antonio.
Now you have to be careful not to get a foul now, because a lot of guys who miss free throws, they try to get it back right away.
Celtics by 4. 5:15 to go. Irving. McHale the rebound. Celtics did not lead till this final quarter. McHale low against Julius. to Bird. 8 seconds on the clock. And a 3-second violation call. You ought to be a referee. You call it so well. 3 seconds.
I knew that was coming. He set up light housekeeping in that lane that time. Robert Parrish said he'd been there so long, they thought his feet were stuck or nailed to the floor.
13 rebound edge for Boston. And a 4-point edge on the scoreboard. And a 20-second timeout has been called by Philadelphia. So right now, the timeout story, the Celtics have 4, Philadelphia 3. The Boston Celtics are the defending world champions. No team has won back-to-back titles since the Celtics of 68-69. And they must win this game. There's going to be nothing more dramatic, Bill, than a team that has to win not only this game, but if they win this, win it Sunday too.
And I'll tell you, that's a tough position to be in. Now, they don't feel any pressure. They feel pressure now, but nothing like they'll feel if they win the game.
You'll feel pressure Sunday?
I feel pressure already. And I'm just a spectator.
Under 5 minutes to play, 76ers have scored only 6 points in this period. And Boston's committed their 4th team foul. And the foul is on Danny Ainge, his 5th. There's Chris Ford. He set an example to the younger players when he took his medicine going to the bench like the pro he is.
Now, what Bill Fritz is objecting about is that the referee at the top of this circle who had a good view did not call a foul, and the referee under the basket called a foul. And that's one thing the coaches get upset when they think that a call was made like that.
Not the first time Bill has complained about officials positioning on the court. Caldwell Jones is 4 for 4 from the free throw line, has only missed 1 free throw in this series.
Now, what Boston has to be careful about at this particular time is that they caught up, they got ahead, and now they say, we got it, but we haven't got it. You have to be very careful.
Philadelphia is having a lot of trouble scoring, though, in the second half. And a loose ball foul on Bird. That'll be 4 on Larry. And that's the 15th foul. So Julius Erving will go to the line. Well, the Sixers will take the points any way they can get. And apparently the free throw line's the only way these minutes.
And that's an outstanding defensive play by Julius Erving. Comes up with the ball, and there's the foul right there.
Foul Story. There you see it. Harrison Haynes with 5. And Bobby Jones with 5. It's like Boston has climbed the mountain, but they got to keep their footing up there, don't they?
Definitely. Very well put, Dick.
All right, listen to the crowd as they urge on Philadelphia. Boston leading by a point. 4th period, game 6. Bird has it quickly back to Danny. Henderson fires left to the key. Big basket. Celtics by 3. And now Philadelphia.
Good ball movement by the Celtics on that last exchange.
Struggling on offense. The Sixers have not really had the movement on offense. Billy Cunningham doesn't want a 7th game. Here's good movement. Blocked by Parrish. Celtics come out with it. Great save, and Robert Parrish, who's playing with 5 fouls, but playing his life of the basketball in this series right here. Parrish against Caldwell Jones. Bird keeps it alive to Ainge. A new clock for the Celtics. 3.5 minutes to go. 4th period. Celtics by 3. They were trailing by 15 points in the 1st period. Ainge wide open. Hits the bucket. Big basket by Danny Ainge.
Super play by Gerald Henderson, too. And that's the kind of shot Ainge should make, and he did it.
Ainge is 2 for 11 shooting, and it was Henderson, as you say, who drew the defense in and then found an open Danny Ainge. So the Boston Celtics have a 5-point lead as we have a timeout. And maybe the crunch is on for both teams equally, even though it's only game 6 and Philadelphia has a game to give because they don't want to go to a game 7. They don't want to go into game 7 in Boston having lost 2 in a row, but that's what they face right now as we wind down to 3 minutes to go in this 4th period. Timeouts remaining. Boston 4, Philadelphia 2. Julius double team finds Bobby Jones, who goes up, no foul, knocked away. Good defense by the Celtics, by Parrish, who has 7 rebounds this period. And the Celtics have a rebounding edge of 15-7 here in the 4th period. Both teams over the limit, fouls. Henderson shot, drops, big basket. And Henderson and Ainge are hitting some big baskets. Steal by Boston. Second steal by Henderson, and now the Celtics with 2.5. In control, it seems, by 7. 10 seconds on the shot clock. McHale against Bobby Jones. McHale hits the jump shot, and all of a sudden it's a 9-point lead. 2:10 to go, and Philadelphia uses a timeout that leaves them with 1. 2 minutes and 9 seconds remaining, and the Boston Celtics have quieted this crowd dramatically.
What?
There you look at the teams who've rallied from 3-1 deficits, and the most important one as it relates to these players and these teams last year when it was 3-1 Philly. Boston won Game 5 by 2, Game 6 by 2, and Game 7 by 1. Julius Erving said, I'm tired of being asked about last season's collapse. Well, I'm afraid the questions aren't going to be over yet, Bill, because where are headed at this point for Game 7 Sunday at Boston Garden, and Philadelphia will really be up against it in that one. Sixers led by 6 points. Cheeks, wild shot, less than 2 minutes to go. Celtics scored 12 in a row, and now have scored 8 in a row. 2 big streaks to give them a solid lead. Less than 2 minutes to go.
And you know, it's funny, in the game that Robert Parrish set out most of the second half earlier, and they lost by 2, he has come back with a vengeance this game, and he's played great with 5 fouls.
Yes.
It's incredible how well he's played with the 5 fouls.
He's short there. They used a lot of the clock, and here comes Cheeks. Philadelphia 2 of 15 shooting this period. That's their 3rd basket. Down by 7. Believe it or not, there is enough time. They may have to resort to the 3-point shot, and Andrew Toney is their best 3-point shooter.
And he will be double-teamed if he tries it.
Right. 7-point lead for the Celtics, but they're using that clock. 8 seconds, and Bird comes in. McHale tips it in.
And that about did it.
A crusher. Look at the bench, M.L. Carr. And the Boston Celtics are getting set to go back to Boston as Toney misses outside. Under a minute to go, and friends, the Boston Celtics will have won 2 straight games and force a 7th game showdown as they did last year when they won by a point. An incredible story, and it seems that every year these teams play, that's the way it is. McHale gets another bucket, and I'll say on top of everything else, the Celtics are finishing up with a tremendous surge in this game.
They have come on strong this quarter.
And this tells the story right there.
You know, I think that the game, it's easy to look at, the hindsight's always 20/20, but I think that this game got away from Philadelphia in the first quarter when they had a 15-point lead, and they ended up the first period with only a 6-point lead.
They should have had a bigger lead for the way they were playing.
Exactly.
Julius gone for 3, but Parrish is up to meet him. Cheeks for 3, and there's nothing Philadelphia can do. Danny Ainge, by the way, with 7 assists in the game, has not shot well, but he has played a fine game in other respects. So yes, the Boston Celtics will have another chance. Bird, 17 rebounds in this game. He has been far and away the best rebounder in this series. Chris Ford, he has contributed as Caldwell Jones fouls out of desperation.
And I think the key move, as far as personnel is concerned, was when Bill Fitch put Robert Parrish back in the ball game with the 5 fouls. And he's played, I think, over 7 minutes with the 5 fouls and played well.
Played his best ball of the game with 5 fouls. Rebounding, blocking shots, scoring. And I'll tell you one thing, if you want to talk about momentum, if there's such a thing as momentum, the Philadelphia 76ers have to be rock bottom right now, and the Celtics are flying.
Well, this, you know, as we said last week, you know, you talk about key games. This was the key game that Boston, they had to win one at Philadelphia, and they've managed to do that.
That's right. That's it. The Boston Celtics did win their one game, and watch them as they leave the floor. And Billy Cunningham, stunned. 27 points scored by Philadelphia in the second half of this game. Tells the story. And we will go to Game 7, Sunday, 3:30 Eastern Time, for the 7th game of the Boston-Philadelphia series. Final score in Game 6, Boston 88, Philadelphia 75. The executive producer of NBA basketball, Jim Harrington. Game produced by Michael Burks and directed by Sandy Grossman. Marty Aronoff has been our statistician, and our thanks to everyone who's played a role in bringing you this game. Boston outscored Philadelphia 27-11 in the final period. So they had it when they needed it, and as Bill Russell said, Robert Parrish, coming in with 5 fouls when he came in, was a master stroke by Bill Fitch, and he was rewarded with Parrish's performance. We'll be back. The crowd at Boston.
Dredging for us.
And the Celtics came off the canvas to live another day. But unless Boston wins tonight here in the Spectrum in Philadelphia, there will only be a Sunday for the Sixers. And that's what we said coming into the ball game as the Boston Garden crowd. See you Sunday. We're going to see them Sunday. The series is tied 3-3, but we have really seen only one close game down to the wire. You pointed it out at the outset. Philadelphia played so well, but didn't have a big enough lead. Parrish coming in, the big substitution. Is there any way, that's not worded right, what way can Philadelphia win in Boston on Sunday? It would seem psychologically in many ways to be difficult.
Well, first of all, the pressure shifts. It is now on Boston because they expect to win.
And their fans expect them to win.
And they expect them to win because they say, if we can just get back here, we know we can beat them. So now Philadelphia, they have a good chance if they go in there ready to play. Now I think what happened to them tonight was they came into the game a little too emotionally involved. You can do that. You can want it so bad. And that was, the indication I got was the way they started the game. They started the game playing with just super intensity and efficiency.
You know, Cheeks and Doc got off to a hot start, and then they kind of disappeared.
But what happens when you do that that early in the game? You start off with a roll, and you're emotionally so high that when the letdown comes, because there will be a letdown, because you have to break the combinations up, it's so hard to come back when you've spent that much emotion because you only have so much in the bank.
Let's go to Boston.
Why not?
Okay, that's the story here at the Spectrum in Philadelphia. For Bill Russell, this is Dick Stockton saying so long from the Spectrum. The final score, Boston 88, Philadelphia 75. And Sunday, Bill and I will be in Boston for game number 7 of the Eastern Conference Championship at 3:30 Eastern, 2:30 Central. Tomorrow on CBS Sports Saturday, it's the WBC Lightweight Championship. Alexis Arguello defends his title against Andy Gannigan. That's 4:30 Eastern and 3:30 Central. And then on Sunday, preceding our NBA coverage, we'll have a special CBS Sports Sunday at 1 o'clock Eastern. You'll see the Mixed Pairs Gymnastics Championship, the NCAA Volleyball Championship, the Masters of Aerobatics, the Great Pool Shootout, and a special feature on Reggie Jackson. 1 o'clock Eastern, followed by game number 7 from historic Boston Garden. The 76ers and the Celtics for the Eastern Conference Championship. We'll see you there Sunday afternoon at 3:30 Eastern. The NBA on CBS is a presentation of CBS Sports.
When a kid who
Go for it. 2 down and 1 to go now. It's just a year ago the Celtics came back from a 19-point Philly lead, and tonight it was 15 to win with an incredible second-half defensive display. Let's take a look here. You can call it the home court advantage. I don't know what you want to call it, but the 76ers threw everything at Boston in the first quarter, and everything went in. They built an incredible 15-point lead on the Celtics before they were even out of the door. It was all Philly, believe me. In the second period, the staggered Celtics cut the lead back by running 10. They got within 2. But Philly threw up another 8 straight to push it back to 12 in the first half. Then Boston outscored Philadelphia 8-2 to get within 6 at the half. Chris Ford had 8 clutch points in that second quarter. That was very, very big. The Celtics finally climbed the mountain in the fourth period. Parrish gave them the lead with just under 8 left, 69-67. Then Parrish came right back and hit another to make it 71-67, 10 straight Celtic points. The 76ers, I'm here to tell you, would score only 27 points in the second half. They'd score only 11 points in the fourth period. Henderson setting up Bird. And then there was Kevin McHale with this magnificent play. Boston with as tough a 13-point win as you're going to find anywhere.
The biggest thing was just the defense that we put on. Defensively, we were able to contain them, and that didn't allow them to get any shots. So the way everybody was playing, I think everybody had a gut feeling that we were going to win.
It's a good one to win, that's for sure. We didn't win that one. I told them my 2 options, either going to practice or going home tomorrow. Either Minnesota or practice. And for the first time in probably my career, I wanted to practice instead of go home.
What wanted Kevin tonight?
Our defense, definitely. I think our defense went out there and really stuck on them, and we didn't give them anything they could really look at and stuff, and we just tried to play. I tell you, another factor that I wanted was Robert Parrish playing with 5 fouls. I've never seen a man with 5 fouls play that aggressive and be that mean. Just carry us to the mountaintop. He did it.
I thought the defense intensity, particularly in the second half, was outstanding. We allowed them to get off to an early lead off of our turnovers and careless ball handling. But once we got back into the game, our defense was very, very tough.
I feel that we have another chance right now. And they came back, and we still got one more chance to win it. And I feel that if we go up there with the attitude of winning, then I think that's what we'll do.
They put on more spurts than we did, and they got the win. We really would like to have gotten this one here tonight, but now we wind up going back to Boston. We have to just beat them there. We really would have liked to beat them here tonight, front our home crowd.
You think Boston's going to pull it off tonight? Bring it back for Game 7.
They have to. They're from New England. Yeah, go and sock it.
They're going to have it easy. They're going to take it easy.
Absolutely.
There was optimism among the Celtic hopeful, but not fortunate enough to be at the Spectrum and not within the comfort of my living room. It was hard to see what the heck was going on, but I learned fast from observing the crowd. For instance, a 76er basket. A Celtic basket. Celtics trailing big. A bad call against the Celtics. The Celtics getting closer. And finally, the Celtics taking the lead. And eventually the winner's countdown.
Final score, 88-75. See you Sunday. The state police at Logan Airport have told me to mention that the Celtics are coming in on a private charter. They're going to land at a private part of the airport, and the public is not invited. So that is the situation on tonight. For the second night in a row, the Red Sox bats came alive, and the result, an 8-7 win over the Oakland A's. Ricky Henderson in the second inning doubles, scoring Tony Phillips, and the A's take a brief 4-1 lead. But the Sox bats awake in the third inning. Evans hits his first home run of the year to the left, and the Sox cut the lead to 4-2. That's been a long time coming. Next batter up, Jim Rice, who continues to be on a tear. Rice singles to center, setting up the next hitter, Captain Carl Yastrzemski. Yaz will sock his 7th home run of the season into the Red Sox bullpen to tie the game at 4-4, knocking out Rick Langford, the Oakland A's starter. The A's went ahead 5-4 in the 4th, but in the 5th, the Sox made their second comeback of the night. Hoffman hits the shot to right. The ball gets by the right fielder, just like I said it would. Dan Meyer, Gedman, who singled, scored, and the Sox will tie the ball game up at 5. I mean, that's got to be a big hit for Gedman to come all the way around from first, I'm telling you. Next inning, Gedman, who's on a tear, singles off the Green Monster. The Sox